Hello, everyone. This is Victoria Mattia. I am so glad that you are joining me today. You are listening to the Mom Care Coach. And if this is your first time, I thank you so much for being here. You are most welcome. If you have been here a million times, I thank you so much for your support. So today, we have our one big idea that says you can plan your week even if you are a neurodivergent mom. So the pillar that we're working on today is having a calm mind. And so that would be our core essential of our mindset. So myself, I am a neurodivergent mom. I also have two kiddos that are also neurodivergent. My oldest child has level 3 severe autism. My youngest child has a variety of different amazingness that goes into his spicy mind and body. And for myself, I have ADHD, and that's the only thing I've been diagnosed with, but who knows as time goes on. So today we are talking about how to plan our week as a neurodivergent person. I find that this is very important, and it's something that's not really taught in schools. It's not even really taught in business school, at least not the one I went to. I had to kind of learn how to help myself, if you will, by books I read and studies I did and certificates I have kind of on my own, because I believe it's something that is foundational to having a productive week. So today we want to talk about how to plan our week. And then also we're going to put a little bit of information about how to plan your morning routines and evening routines. Now, the reason why is because your morning routine and your evening routine, / nighttime routine, doesn't change a whole lot. And therefore, it's easier. However, your AM block, your PM block, your work block, sometimes that kind of changes depending on what it is you actually do. So let's get started. So the first thing I encourage people to do, take a blank piece of paper, okay? The recommendations I am recommending are not digital. You can use digital to kind of plug everything into your planner if you have a digital planner. But if you have a paper planner, this works fine too. But I recommend the first step being taking a blank piece of paper and then brain dumping everything out, meaning everything you need to get done for your week. Now, if you are new to having a proper morning routine and evening routine, I also suggest writing all of that down as well. Now, your AM block, your PM block generally doesn't change a whole lot. So, meaning if you are a homeschool mom, that's what you're doing throughout the week. If you work a 9-to-5 job outside of the home, that's what you're doing throughout the week. If you work from home, that's what you're doing. You get the point. So all of that's kind of taken care of in itself. If you are a person that says, I like a lot of freedom, I don't really like to be stuck in a box of being too organized, I can help you with that. Let's just keep going, and later on we're going to mention how we can help with that. So first step, like I said, write everything down on a blank piece of paper, okay? If my voice is fluctuating a little bit, I'm playing around with a new microphone, and sometimes I look down at my notes. So brain dumping everything out, meaning, what are you doing? Are there appointments you have? Are there to-dos that you need to complete that week? Is there a certain time you like to go grocery shopping? Meal planning? Meal prep? Do you do carpool? Do you Do you have your kids in school or do you homeschool? Dropping them off at school. All of these little tiny details we don't even think about. What time do you like to have breakfast? What time do you usually have lunch? Do you have lunch at work or do you have it at home? What time is dinner? What time do you start prepping dinner? You see, it gets kind of in the weeds about how you're wanting to function in your week. And so it helps you to kind of organize all of your thoughts. So you are writing all of this down. Are you in charge of appointments for your husband or your children? Do you have something going on for them this week? Are you in the PTO? Do you have an IEP meeting? When are your therapy sessions for your children or maybe yourself as well? Or even your spouse, if you're in charge of some of the details for them. Writing all of these things down, it's very helpful. Okay, the next thing, after you've wrote everything down, released everything from your mind, and it's on this piece of paper, then you're going to open up your planner. I do recommend a paper planner or a hybrid method where you are having you're having your paper planner and then you only write certain things that you need to get done to ding in your phone if that's what you choose. I don't recommend having everything digital dinging all the time because over time you will you're mentally desensitized to it. And so it won't be useful. It will lose its usefulness if it's always dinging and you don't know exactly what it is. And so you were always looking at your phone. That's probably not what it is that you're wanting to do. So honestly, I recommend the paper planner. But if you want to do the hybrid system, that works really great for a lot of people as well, where you're just putting in maybe your appointments and that's kind of it in the phone. Everything else can be on paper. Okay. Next thing, after you have wrote everything down, after you brain dumped it, now we need to place these items in the planner. So if you have a paper planner, you're opening up to the page that has all 7 days, and you're thinking about which day you want to do different things. Okay. Then you're wanting to know what time you're wanting to do these different things, and you're writing it down in your planner. Now, sometimes when we're brain dumping, other things will come to our mind, like, oh, that's right, this month we have somebody's birthday, or we have a work party, or I need to pick up the dry cleaning in a couple weeks. It's okay to write those things down as well. You could even put a little star or whatever to let you know, okay, these are not the things that has to go down this week. However, they are important to me. And so if you're wanting to just write it down to get it out your head, that's one thing. Or if you're wanting to write it down and then actually find a home for it in your planner, that is something you can do as well. So once you have brain dumped and now you have wrote everything in your planner for that week and the time that you want to get it done, we neurodivergent people statistically will sometimes underestimate the amount of time it takes to actually get it done. So when you are new to this, I always recommend doubling the time. So if you think something is going to take you 15 minutes and you know yourself and you have habitually underestimated the time, then go ahead and pencil in 30 minutes for whatever it is that needs to get done. Now, going back to your morning routines and nighttime routines, great thing about those is that they, generally speaking, don't change much from day to day or week to week. So if you are new to writing them down, you can actually write them in a little space in your planner. So you have it in your mind of what you're supposed to be doing at the time in the morning and in the evening so that you don't get sidetracked with your phone or different expectations of what other people are asking of you. Side note, for morning routines and nighttime routines, if they are at all possible, I recommend not having your phone in your view unless you need to. And then I also recommend, if it is possible, to do your morning routine before your kids get up so that you can focus. And if it is possible, to do your nighttime routine after the kids go to bed so you can focus. But still, neither one has a screen involved. So, like I said, even if you're doing a hybrid method, meaning you're using a planner, a paper planner, and a phone, you only have your appointments in the phone because you don't want to miss those. Everything else you can write in the paper planner. Now, I am just making my personal suggestions by different observations I've made from myself and other neurodivergent people. In the past, I was a director of an autism clinic, and we had many, many children to go through our clinic. I worked with all of the therapists that I would hire, and I would see all of their different observations. So I've worked with a lot of neurodivergent people and families, and worked with the families personally, helping them with the routines that they need to set that are best for them and their family. So I am going by recommendations that I make, observations that I have noticed, and then also my background. If you are new to the Mom Care Coach, I was a teacher for over 20 years. I am a certified health and life coach. I am also a women's wellness educator. So I have worked very intimately with wellness and lifestyle communities, as well as helping people create the routines that they need, the meal plans they need, finding all different ways to support their life and their children and their family. So the suggestions that I make are from observations that I've seen, education that I have been blessed with. I also have a certificate in international counseling. I've been to over 30 different countries, worked with people from all around the world. And so when I make observations, they're not just my opinion, they are backed by science. And so I'm saying all that to say, feel free to, if this is new to you, to look it up and see if this is something that'll fit in your lifestyle, or if it feels really complicated, you can look up other suggestions as well. I do have several other podcast episodes that goes into routines. Okay, so let's move on. Review. First, we're going to brain dump. Then we are going to look at those items and put them in their proper home in the planner for that week, and then also the time of those things that you want to have executed. So after we have done all of those awesome things, we are also making sure that we have our morning routine and our nighttime routine wrote down. Over time, you may have it memorized, but it's always good to have it wrote down. And now let's talk about the AM block, the PM block, and work block. Now, work block, like if you work from home, or if you are building a side income, or if you have a 9-to-5, all of those items are already kind of planned out, generally speaking, and you know what you should be doing at certain times. We may go into a separate episode where we can talk about some of the things that you need to make sure you're doing if you are an entrepreneur and you are new and you are creating systems for yourself. But we're not doing that in this episode. So when you wrote down everything for your brain dump, it's just kind of, work. You just would write work. Now for your AM block and PM block, that is the blocks that you are, serving your heart out generally. Meaning if you are working outside of the home, or if you are working inside of the home with your children or with your spouse or with pets, or if you're working inside of the home and your kiddos are in school, that is the time that you probably will have screens out. You do want to have some parameters around that so you're able to execute everything that needs to be executed. And then that is the time that you may have some to-dos, you may have some appointments, you will have different things already penciled in. And so it's important to already have that at a glance when you look in your planner. Now, let's talk about, like I said, I would come back to this issue if you are a person that needs to have some flexibility within your organizational skills. I totally get that. I am more of that free-spirited person myself. I've actually had to teach myself how to be more organized. That has not come easy to me at all. So tips that I take for myself. So as an individual that is neurodivergent as well, I like to make sure that I have lots of supports throughout the day to keep me grounded and to help me stay calm and also to help me to stay focused on the task at hand. I try not to do multitasking. I try to do one task at a time, one task at hand, complete it, and then move on. However, I'm a stay-at-home and my kids are at home because I homeschool them as well. So for me, they are often, right there saying, hey, can we do this? Or needing my attention in some way. So I am constantly looking at my lists, looking at my planner, and then having things pre-prepped as much as possible. I'm going to review my morning routine and evening routines. Maybe that will give you some support for yourself, as well as some tips or ideas that can be helpful. So in the morning, I wake up, I do my gratitude before my feet hit the floor. And how I do it is I think of 5 things that I want to thank the Most High for. I get up, I go to the restroom, I brush my teeth, I do my hair, I wash my face, I get dressed, all the things. I do like a quick wash up, all the things I need to do. And then I come out into my dining room. I already have prepped a big mason jar of water. I prep it the night before. And I also have my green tea already prepped. I make my green tea in a way where it tastes like more of like a hot chocolate. And I put lots of medicinal herb teas in it. I make it at night, let it, sit in the herbs, and then I strain it in the morning, put it in my blender, and then do all the things I need to do to it. So that's one way. Or sometimes I will prep the whole thing at night. I will make more of a matcha. And so I can put that in the blender and all the things I put in it. For me, I just put in the matcha, stevia, the matcha green tea powder, and then I'll put a little bit of cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, coconut oil, and let's see, anything else? I also put my ashwagandha and my ginkgo biloba powder. Those 2 things can help it taste more like coffee, the ginkgo biloba powder and the ashwagandha powder. The kind that I use is a blend of maca and reishi as well. And then I put all of that. That should already be in there from the night before when I'm doing it that way. I'll also put some cacao powder in it or some cacao beans. And then that's all prepared the night before. And then I just get up, go to the kitchen, and then press a button, blender, to blend it on my Vitamix. So that's how I do that. If I am doing like a tea that has lots of medicinal herbs, meaning like I like to put tulsi in it, it's very calming, lemon balm. I will also put in, just some really nice calming herbs, as well as some ginseng and lemongrass and green tea. I'm trying to think of all the things I do. That's when I make that green tea at nighttime. And then I'll just put it in the blender in the day, like I said before. So there's 2 different options I do. And then after I've done that, I've drank my water, I've had my coffee. I call it coffee, but as you can see, it's not. And then I'll have personal development book, a few pages out of there if I have the time, or like a few passages from my scriptures, my Bible. And then that's kind of done for me most days. If I have extra time, then, add in a workout. If I don't, I'll try to get that workout done in the afternoon. So, of course, that is dependent upon making sure kiddos have everything that they need. They're usually in another room, either watching a movie or doing some coloring or some other little things that I have them set up to do so that I can have my time for my morning routine. Nighttime routines, I always say the morning routine and the nighttime routine mirrors itself. Nighttime routine, you are dimming the lights, you may have a bath or an EO scrub down. I've mentioned that a couple times before, but if you're new, an EO scrub down is kind of a quicker wash. It's a quick wash up time, but you're using essential oils as well. So you fill up your bathroom sink, hottest water, about, you can stand it with, a towel. You sit it in there, and then you'll put like a couple drops of lavender or something really calming on the towel, on the washcloth rather. You put your favorite calming soap on it, and then you scrub your body. You're going to put lots of pressure, like on your shoulders, on your neck, on your arms, and you just scrub your entire body. And then you kind of rinse off, but it's getting those beautiful essential oils in the body. So it's very calming. Okay. So that's kind of when you don't have time to take like a full bath. So it's something calming that you can do. So you do that, you put on your PJs, just like you would put your daytime clothes on, you would put your nighttime clothes on. You brush your teeth, you do your hair, you put like some body lotion on or whatever. You may light candles or, have diffusers going. You may have calming music. You may have some journal time. You may do some reading as well. You may do some stretches, massage yourself as you're doing some stretches, all of that. And then you have prepped yourself, and then some prayers, you've prepped yourself for bed. Okay. So those two routines, the great thing about it, it's just based upon the time that you have allotted, but they like I said, they mirror itself, and you don't change much from either one of those. Daytime is different. Your AM block, your PM block, that's work of some kind or homeschooling. Maybe you have your appointments, your to-dos, field trips, all the different things. And then, of course, you have your work block, whatever that is for you. So I hope that this is really helpful. The takeaway points I recommend are the brain dumping, and then making sure you have some kind of calming tools throughout the day for yourself, whether that is drinking tea, meditation, breath work. And breath work can just be as little as like 30 seconds as well. That throughout the day can be very, very helpful and helping you to focus. Minimizing screen time is very important. And then focusing on one task at a time. These takeaway points can be very, very helpful. They have been very helpful for myself and even my children. So I hope that you have a really great day. Also, I do want to add in having time for exercise is also really important. Even if you only have 10 minutes a day, I do an online Pilates routine that I can do in as little as 10 minutes. They also have longer sessions, and I also like doing my breath work on the app as well. So, like I said, you can fit it in, and it can be really helpful for you with focus and with stamina and energy. So I hope you have a great day. I hope that this has ministered to you and been helpful and given you some ideas that can work in your life. So until next time, thank you so much and take good care.